Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of People of Distinction, the talk that gives an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, peopleofdistinction.org for more info, or you can always email me directly at benji@alcoleenterprises.com. And on the line with us today, we have J.P. Powers. We're going to be discussing his amazing book, Thief of Dreams, available for purchase through Amazon as well as barnesandnoble.com or directly through the publishing company, cityofbooks.com. And before we go any further, I want to take a quick opportunity and point out that, of course, JP was brought to our network by that same publishing company, City of Books. And I also want to let any writers out there listening in right now know that if you have a book that you've written and now you find yourself at a crossroads because you need help moving the book you just created, well, you know what you got to do. Head on over to cityofbooks.com and have them really help you out in this endeavor because they're one of the best in the business to do it. And this is what they specialize in. Head on over to cityofbooks.com today. You're going to be in great hands, and they're going to help maximize all your creative endeavors. And listen, it is an absolute pleasure, okay? Such a delight to have JP here on the line. His book, Thief of Dreams, is one that needs to be added to your shelf. This book has so much to offer people. At the end of the day, JP is the expert. He's written the book. It's loosely based upon his life, so he's going to be able to articulate everything much better than I ever could. Do me a favor, though. Sit back and strap in. JP, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you very much for being a guest, man. How you doing today?
Hey, good afternoon, Benji. Real pleasure to be here.
Likewise, man. Listen, it's a true pleasure to have you here with us. We're thoroughly looking forward to this. And I think what you're doing here from an entertainment standpoint, this has everything we need, but also that underlying message is something we can get behind as well. And listen, it's a true pleasure. Before we jump into the book, JP, let's start off by learning a little bit more about your background, please. Tell us more about yourself.
Well, I've had quite a life, as the Thief of Dreams will lay out my younger years and what I was to accomplish after going through so many problems, diversities, so much that it's unbelievable that one person would be given this much on their plate. And the story is, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to handle it? And are you going to be a winner or are you going to be a loser? And that's the decision that Kyle Stone is going to have to make as he takes this journey. Myself, I've spent most of my years working with our veterans, president of the United States Entertainment Force for many, many, many years, taking care of our veterans, their families, and moving on to concert promoter, concert manager of rock stars, and several of them throughout the years. That brought me to producer of the USO. And the USO is an organization that goes out and brings the best entertainment we have to the men and women of our armed forces. And I did that for 8 years. So I've been really involved in helping people and having to deal with people's problems and working it out with them and dealing with their emotions and what they're able to accomplish and what their failures are and how we can try to change that. Because I had a lot of experience in what happened to me throughout my life, which made me have to write this book, Thief of Dreams. And let me just very quickly tell you what the readers are saying about this book already. Thief of Dreams must read for fans of thrillers and anyone looking for a fresh and captivating novel. The book is expertly crafted and offers a perfect balance of mystery, intrigue, and action, making it a page-turner that will keep the readers on the edge of their seats. This is a theme that has gone through all of the reviews that have come through, and I'm so happy that they are getting it. and what Kyle Stone had to go through.
There you have it. Well, listen, reviews like that, I mean, we can just end the interview now. People, you already know. This is proven. You got to head on over to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and City of Books. All right, pick up your copies. You know, of course, we're just having some fun there. You know, JP, I didn't want to go here so soon, but after that explanation, I can't see myself going anywhere else. You mentioned that you almost felt like you had to write this book. Talk to us a little bit more about that and your inspiration behind creating this novel.
Yes, and from my own experience, you said what it is. I had to write it. And I think that's what happens sometimes to writers, and how they're able to write these great books. It's got to be something you feel. It's got to be something that's in your soul. Yeah. And it's got to be something that you want to tell. And by doing that, then you're going to get focused on completing the story that you are going to start. And by staying focused on the message and continue to write all the time as things come to you, no matter where you're at. Taking a shower, as people say, taking a bath. I've had so many great things come to my mind, which made me run to my desk and write them down. And that's what a writer has to do. It's a full-time job. It's on your mind constantly if you're going to complete a book that readers are going to want to read.
Well, JP, without further ado, Thief of Dreams. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Thief of Dreams. Wow. Let's start with an 8-year-old, Benji. An 8-year-old who went to help his father take off the washer and dryer because of a divorce. And that Thursday afternoon, he sat with his father, and his father, who was a fireman, his father told him that I'm thinking about killing myself. When Kyle heard that, I mean, when you hear that from people, sometimes you're like, yeah, okay, that's all right, let's move on. But it came so strong, and it came from his mother's soul. So young Kyle tried to talk him out of it. And it's going to be okay, Dad. Kyle went down the road the next morning, Friday morning, passing the house that he helped take the washer and dryer out of. And that Friday morning, as he came past the house, he was hitchhiking on his way to his girlfriend's. He felt something in him, that there was something there, a huge energy force coming from the house.
Yeah.
But he was distracted by a car coming by, and he got in and went to his girlfriend's house. Lying in that house in his truck was his father, who killed himself that Friday night. And that's kind of where this whole thing starts, of what this 8-year-old had to deal with that, and now he's homeless. Now he's on the streets and by himself. And when all of these emotions that he was feeling, he had to come to the strength and the power that he's on his own. Nobody's going to help him. No one's going to be there. He has to do it for himself as a young 8-year-old. And so he did. He went from house to house until he finally decided to join the Army. Mm-hmm. And he joined the Army because he was very good at baseball, and the Army said that he could play baseball. So after basic training, he could go play baseball, and there was no more baseball. So he went in as a combat engineer, completed that. And then they told him they wanted him to be an officer. And that's because so many officers were being killed in Vietnam, especially the infantry officers. So they sent him to infantry at 18 years old. So he went to the infantry officers candidate school at 18. And all of them wanted to get him out. Nobody wanted an 18-year-old lieutenant. They went after him so hard that his roommate, who was a Special Forces Green Beret, went out in a stretcher because of what they did to Kyle Stone. But Kyle was able to win. He got his commission. He went into the Army. And then there's parts in the Army that we talk about in the book. And there are just amazing what the military soldiers go through as they are in battle. But he was able to get through that, even though 85% of his class had died in Vietnam. He made it. And, you know, all the time that he was over there, he was just saying, when I come home, I just want to come home, San Francisco. I want to sit down. I want to have a cold beer. All he could think about. Well, after he got out, and when he was shipped into San Francisco, he went into a bar, sat down to the barkeeper and said, "Sir, man, I've been years wanting a cold beer." The man poured him a nice one, put it in front of him, and said, "Let me see your ID." Well, I looked over it and finally had to tell the guy that, "Listen, I'm a 19-year-old captain in the Army. Just got back. I just want a cold beer, sir." Mm-hmm. Barkeep said, "No, you cannot have one." The gentleman sitting down the edge that heard it, and he said, "Hold on. You say you're a captain, just got back from Vietnam and fighting our war?" He said, "Yes, sir." He said, "I'll tell you what, you wait here." And he told the barkeep to go get him a couple cases of beer. And he says, "Listen, I've got a limo outside. I'm putting you in my limo with cases of beer. You go wherever you want. Drink all you want. We want to thank you for what you did."
Wow.
So he goes and decides that what he's always wanted to do is to build a business. So he decided to go into the insurance financial business, picked up and spent his time on a motorcycle selling insurance. Well, he found out a better way to do it, Benji, and he was able to build a financial corporation of multi-millions of dollars and became a millionaire at the age of 28 with offices throughout the United States and 400 salespeople in the Bay Area of San Francisco of 1980s. And he went on to build this tremendous corporation. However, there was those in the corporation that he built that because it was so good, and heck, he was making, if you guys can believe this, around $275,000 a week back in the 80s. A lot of money.
Yeah.
And when you're good, you get noticed. So some guys came aboard, and they had intentions. They wanted to steal what Kyle had. And from there, his problems started. He took these boys to court, and he lost on a technicality. And as he sat in court with his attorney, and the attorney asked these boys about what they're doing, Kyle said, "Boy, that judge is going to eat them up." The next statement was, "This is being dismissed, and the court is over due to technicalities." Kyle felt like Rambo movie with a machine gun. Just wanted to just fill the place up because he lost to these guys out of Chicago to steal what he had. But he stayed strong. His vice president was with him. VP convinced Kyle that he should go a different way. And that VP had hooked up with a witch. And so he said, "I'm going to call the witch and we can go see her." And, you know, these guys from Chicago say that they talk about this stuff. So we're going to hit them where they are. So Kyle said, "Oh boy, I don't know." But the meeting was set and they went and they met with this witch and told the witch everything that was going on, and they got instructions. They were given black candles, and with one white candle to go in Kyle's office, black candles to go in all the other offices. At midnight, they were there with wood matches that were given to him and grave parts, whatever the heck that was, on top of the candles. So anyway, they lit candles and most of the good Catholics there quit. But soon after that, his janitor came to his office and said, Mr. Kyle, I have to talk to you. When I come here and clean at night, there are people in your office. You can only see half up, but they're smoking your cigars. They're behind your desk. Mr. Kyle, I cannot do this anymore. I cannot clean. I suggest you get a priest in there. So he quit. All kinds of things started to happen. It became such a problem and a stupid thing to do, and now Kyle had to deal with it. And dealing with the to steal his company, and now he's got this witch thing going on, ghost in his office. He goes home, and his mother-in-law is there to make dinner for him, so he comes in, sits down with her, and he's talking to her, and his wife is saying something, but she's mumbling, and we're like, what's the matter with you? She basically says, never mind. And as they sit there, they all of a sudden hear some noise in the garage. Bang, bang, this huge noise. So they run out there. She is with an axe chopping up his Ferrari. Guys, can you believe this? Chopping up his Ferrari from the hood to the windshield to the top. The time that Kyle got there, took that axe away from her.
Wow.
So he's got these family problems and of his other problems. And he goes to his favorite watering hole, and he's sitting there. He's got his tequila and tonic in front of him, kind of staring into the glass. All of a sudden, two guys show up next to him. And they say, "Are you Kyle Stone?" He says, "Who's asking?" He pulls up his jacket and shows a Beretta M9. He says, "We're asking." He says, "Yes, I'm Kyle Stone. What the heck is this about?" He says, "You'll find out. Get up and come with us." He says, "I'm not coming with you." Pulls back the jacket again and says, "Yes, you are." So Kyle goes and gets in a limousine outside, and they take him to an office. And they then tell him that his vice president had stolen most of the company money and had also stole $1.5 million from some boys in Florida, that he went and negotiated some dollars on behalf of Kyle Stone. As it turned out, it was the Mafia.
Wow.
Mafia tells him that, "We know you didn't steal it, but you're the only one who has the ability to make it back for us. So guess what there, Kyle? We own you as of now. Forget everything that you have coming. Forget every plan that you have. You now answer to us 24 hours a day. We own you. Now, if you don't like it, we can go visit your wife and children." So, Kyle, all the problems he has, now he's got the Mafia.
Yeah.
Coming into his life. It's so crazy. So he ends up doing what they want, and he had to go to a shipyard and help unload the ship from whatever content it was. They weren't allowed to see it. And so he did it, and he did it every day. One day they said, "Kyle, they want you up in the office." So he says, "Okay." So he goes to the office, and they said, "You've done such a good job. Our boys in Las Vegas want to talk to you. So he went down to Las Vegas and met with them. And they told him that here's what we're going to do. If you ever want to get out, you're going to have to do all of these things. But Kyle, we did a report on you into your past. We found out that you have lineage coming back to the Knights Templars.
Wow.
Who started back in the 1100s, helping protecting the Jews from what they were going through. They lived till about 1350 until they were taken out by the King of France. But they said, because your lineage goes back to them, we're going to put you in a different situation, and we just want you to do what we say, and the results of that will be good. So as they talked, they put it together, and he would not have to go out and deal with any prostitution or drugs, things that you think is the money part of the organization. So he was given jobs, and his first job was there was a senator that was coming into Las Vegas, and they wanted to take the senator out. So they told Kyle to set it up so that we have something on the senator. Kyle did, and I won't go through it all now. And it was a success. And a crazy way to do it, what he did. But it was a success, and he accomplished what they told him to do. So as the book and the story goes on, because, this is a story like no other. Because it's based on my life experiences. But he goes on to complete a task after task that he was given, dealing with things in San Francisco, commissioners of different elected officials that were not doing things right. And so he accomplishes that and he goes into Sausalito with his girlfriend for dinner in their limousine. And as they're leaving, going back from Sausalito into San Francisco, there's a tunnel there. At the end of the tunnel, all of a sudden there's a crash on the limousine right through the skylight. And a huge stone or rock came through and hit Kyle. So somebody had been up there waiting for his car to come through, and they hit him, sent him over to the hospital where he was there to get well from what had happened. And then, of course, his people had to take care of the revenge and the payback.
Yeah.
So all of this goes on in his life. And all the time he stays strong, He has to look inside himself, into his heart and soul, because there's so much going on around him that he has no control over. But he can control his own emotions, his own energy, if he's strong and has the faith. And this is what people have to do. You got to stay strong, and your strength is inside. Look inside yourself. Find the love. Find that strong ability to hold on to faith, and that you will win no matter what they give and throw at you. And God help you if you ever get thrown at it, what Kyle went through. But nobody will, because it was just, and as you read the book, you'll see that. As you from page to page, going to the next story, and all the reviews are like, people can't believe what's happened to him, but what's going to happen next? So they can't put it down, because he's going to have so many interesting things happen to him as he goes through and tries to make the family happy with his results, so that hopefully he can get back to the normalcy of his life.
You know, people, my goodness, I told you, this is a book that you need to have on your shelves. I know if you are all like me, you're at the edge of your seat. You are hanging on to every single word, and get this, we've barely scratched the surface. I mean, there is still so much left on those pages that you're going to have to get involved in. As we start to close out of here, JP, given this entire process, what would you say was a highlight for you? Or if not a highlight, maybe something that surprised you that you weren't anticipating before you began?
Well, I think probably the highlight of it was the family lineage that was found in connection back to the Knights Templars and the founder of the Knights Templars, Sir Vane.
Yeah.
So that was a tremendous, something that he could take on for the rest of his life, and that he could own that. And that was a very positive energy that came to him that he could now own. So that was something that he never expected.
People, I know myself. I could sit here and I could talk to JP for hours. Okay. There is that much information to cover, and I am that much engulfed in what we are discussing. But I have to remind myself, Benji, this is not about you. So we're going to close out now because you all know where you got to go. Okay. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, cityofbooks.com. You got to purchase copies for yourself. As I mentioned before, this is something that has so much substance. The narrative itself is not only entertaining, but offers such a powerful message of perseverance. Head on over there today. Pick up your copies. While you're at it, pick up copies to add to someone else's shelf as a gift. You can thank me later. Head on over there today. Pick up your copies. Get lost in it. JP, this has been an absolute pleasure. Such an honor. Thank you once again for being a guest on People of Distinction.
It's been my pleasure. God bless.